Hello, 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 my friends, and good morning, and welcome to Wow Wednesday. And I am delighted that you have chosen to pause and join us so that you get the opportunity to hear from our guest today, Peg Duchesne, as we talk about the cure for messy messaging. You know, it's kind of like you put out that post on social media, you send out an email, and you're expecting this big result. People are going to like it. They're going to engage. They're going to respond to your email. They're going to be loving what you're sharing with them. And then nothing happens. Like, we don't want that to happen for you. And that's why we've brought Peg Duchesne in the house with us today. So I'll bring her on in just a moment. A couple of quick announcements for Women's Prosperity Network and what else we have happening for you. So as we approach the end of the third quarter, dipping into the fourth quarter of 2022, I want to invite you to reconnect with your intentions for the year. Remember back in January when you said, oh, here's all the things I'm going to do? Well, maybe you've done some of them, so it's time to create some new intentions. Perhaps you've got off track a little bit and it's time to adjust so that you can still hit the mark. For all of you, I want to invite you to join me for a very in-depth special two-part workshop that I'm doing. Part one is this afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern. Part two is going to be on Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And what I'm doing is today we're going to set up the foundation of all the pieces that you need to create a solid, inspired action plan, not a drudgery, oh my God, this is going to be so hard, an inspired action plan. We want you to take actions that feel good, and from feeling good, you get to bring about amazing results. So it's a two-part workshop. So today we're going to set the foundation. I'm going to give you a little bit of home play. And then Friday, when you join us, we're going to pull all the pieces together. So register for this two-part workshop. You can get all the details on it. Just simply go to our website, click on the events calendar, and look for September 28th, which is today. So go ahead and register. If you can't be there for one or both, we are going to send replays, and there's a workbook that goes with it. We want everyone to excel, to thrive, to be strong, inspired, and thriving as we come into and get through this fourth quarter of 2022. So be sure to join us. And one of the things that we're going to touch upon today, but not nearly to the depth that Peg can do, is we're going to be talking a little bit about messaging and how you really hone in on that. But Peg is the expert. She's the message therapist. So I want to bring her on so we can dive into how to clean up your messy messaging so that you're creating content that does attract quality, ideal clients. So let me tell you about Peg. So Peg Duchesne is the owner of Duschesne Enterprises. She's a brand implementer, communications coach, marketing strategist, and content creator. And she develops and delivers your marketing messages. With regard to marketing, she asked, does it sometimes feel like drinking from a fire hose? Well, she works with her clients so that they can stand out, hitting their mark in their marketing. She makes your brand come alive on digital platforms so that your audience is attracted to your messaging. And without any further delay, welcome, Peg.
Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, everyone. So happy to see lots of our Women's Prosperity Network sisters and brothers in the house. Happy to be here.
Delighted to have you with us. And just as a quick aside, Peg and I have known each other since I believe it was the very first year of Women's Prosperity Network back in 2008, or maybe it was 2009.
I think it was 2008, and you and I think you hadn't yet decided the name.
Oh, that's right.
I met you and your two sisters, and I come with greetings from Bob Berg, who is the reason you and I met.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the post about our Wow Wednesday this morning, and he said, two of his favorite people to give you a hug. He hasn't seen you in a while. So I'm going to raise my Go Giver coffee mug.
Oh, that is awesome. Say, hey, Bob.
And hey, Bob. That's right. Hey, Bob.
That is so good. That is so good. And so it's interesting, and we can dovetail off of that. So when we first started Women's Prosperity Network, I forget sometimes It was Women's Wealth Connection. That's what we started as. And so our messaging was a little bit messy. It wasn't really, hitting the mark of the women that we wanted to serve. And then we ended up digging deeper, using some of the strategies and techniques Peg is going to share today. And we ended up at Women's Prosperity Network. And that felt right. It speaks to who Peg is and to who most of you are. So, Peg, you've been at this a really long time. It is your area of expertise. So let's get us started, because so many people struggle with, what do I post? Where do I post? How do I get people to like what I'm talking about? Where do we begin?
Well, I recommend that you begin with your values in mind. And just like you were portraying when you were selecting the name for Women's Prosperity Network, you went through a few iterations of names until you found just the right one. And one of my secret tools is called Bank. You'll see at the end of my name, if you're watching, it says NABK. That stands for Nurturing Action Blueprint Knowledge. And if you're familiar with DISC or Myers-Briggs or some of the other personality assessment tools, Bank is somewhat similar to that, except we say totally different. Bank is based on the way you need to receive information to make decisions of any kind. So the first thing I'm going to do, Nancy, is give all our listeners a free gift. It's a 27-page report all about you and how you show up in the world and how you process information, how you like to receive information. So many of us have heard and read the book, The Love Languages, and the book recommends that you don't give your loved one a gift that you would like, give them a gift that they would like, one that resonates with them and has value for them. So when you take this quick 90-second quiz at the crackmycode.com/Duchess, Duchess, you'll be able to take a 90-second quiz, sort your values, and come up with your 4-digit code. And we're all part of all 4 in our personality, but it's what's most prevalent. And then that's how I craft the message for my clients. We determine what the code is for the most likely of their ideal clients, and then craft the message either specifically to that code, or we balance the message across all 4 so that the person receiving that message is going to go, wow, they are talking right to me.
And that's what we always want. That's what creates the engagement for the person reading your message, whether it's video, written, email, all of those different platforms, that there's like, oh, she's talking right to me. He's talking right to me. And the thing that I love about discovering your code is we tend to, so listen to this, if your marketing messaging is not getting the kind of results you hoped for, more likely than not, you're only speaking in your primary code. So you're missing out on touching the hearts and minds of, 75%, right? 75% of the way people like to hear and read things. So that's why this is so valuable. So be sure to go to crackmycode.com/Duchess, Duchess. Absolutely free. Go grab it. Click on the link now so that, don't do the test now, but click on the link now so that you've got it open in the browser once we close out today. So most importantly, know who you are and have an understanding of who your people are. Love that.
Great. And then we determine the kinds of people you're serving. Where would they be? It's not so important that you're on your platform, but where would your audience most likely be? Which platform? And then we build the social media based on who you're trying to talk with and where they hang out.
Right. So is your client on, and we all, hear about this before, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, like there's a lot of places to go.
There are a lot.
Let me ask you this question. How do we figure out which is the right platform for us? And I might be dialing a little deeper than we planned to go today, but that's what it is.
But it's Nancy. So we know the demographics of each audience, and then we determine who your audience is and where they fit in. And it may be that there's 2 or 3 platforms so that you hit the majority of where your people are hanging out. Most of the clients I serve are either are dealing with business professionals. So I really lean towards LinkedIn as one of the top 3 that my clients are posting on, because that's the most professional of all social media.
That's more of a business to business type of environment, right?
Right.
Okay, beautiful. So which platforms? Let's talk about frequency. How often should we be posting? And we'll start with that, and then I'm going to give you a follow-up question.
So, just like so many things in business, it depends. If you're promoting an event, you might need to post more frequently as you're building up to that event. But the bottom line is you want to stay consistent. Once a week is not enough. The way the algorithms work with different platforms, the timing of the message, people might not be on at that time. If you haven't corresponded with people, they might not see your message. So my recommendation is 3 to 5 posts a week at different times of the day. Lots of times between 8 and 9:30. If people are working a 9 to 5, they're checking it on their way to work. They're checking it once they get to work before they actually start working. And then the lunch hour, when the traditional workday ends, and then into the evening when people are watching TV or hanging out and scrolling to see what other people are up to. So several times a week, 3 to 5 at a minimum, and different times throughout the day is my recommendation.
Okay. Is posting enough to create engagement and results?
What a great question.
That was my follow-up.
Posting is not enough, because that's a one-way street. When somebody engages or likes or loves your comment, or especially if they make a comment, your job is to continue the conversation, make it a 2-way street, not just one way out to them. But if they say, oh, I really liked it and here's why, that's great. If they say, oh, I liked it, you might say, what did you like best about it? Or what resonated with you the most? Or something to continue that conversation.
Yeah,
and you can do that. You can do that in public, or you can send them a private message. It's so good to hear from you. But the main thing is, if they engage, you want to engage back.
I liken it to, let's say you were at an in-person networking event, or you were at the supermarket, or you were, shopping at a store, and somebody says to you, oh, that's a really nice dress. And you say nothing. You would go, how rude, right? It's not relationship building. It's not rapport building. And the biggest mistake that I see happening in people's minds is thinking, oh, I'm going to put out this meme. I'm going to put out this blog post. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this video, and then I'm done for the day. That's the biggest mistake that I see happen. And then they're not getting results. They're not developing relationships, which is what social media is really all about.
Yeah. The analogy you gave of just turning and walking away without speaking or recognizing their comment or compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening. That's really what's happening. And I know why people make that mistake. And it's about time. Social media can feel like there's so much time that it's going to take. So you were about to share something.
I wanted to say, as we're talking about engagement, whether you press the like button or the angry face or any of those emoticons, that's engagement. And so lots of people have negative things to say about different platforms. Let's just say Facebook, for instance. Oh, I'm just sick and tired of Facebook. No matter which way you engage, Facebook doesn't know whether it's happy, sad, crying, laughing, whatever. It's an engagement. and they think you want to see more of it. So if it's something you don't like and you don't want to see more of, don't press any buttons, because then you'll see less of it. When there was lots of, political animosity throughout our country and people were seeing more and more of stuff, that's because they were engaging with whatever the content, whether it's favorable or not favorable. The algorithm shows you more of what you react.
What you've connected with, right? And they just look at that. So what's interesting is I do hear a lot of people say, oh, I'm sick of social media. I can't stand it. There's so much negativity and in my feed. And I look at my feed and it's like happy and motivational and inspiring. Every now and then there's some off comment or off post that shows up, but it's very rare.
Well, and I would venture to say that's because you're putting out positivity into the world and you're attracting that to yourself and you engage to uplift others. And so that's what comes into your feed.
Well, thank you. And I also, when I see those less than positive posts or somebody doing bashing in some way, I don't comment, I don't like it. And just, I'll share this little secret. I send them love because obviously they're in pain and upset. And as Eckhart Tolle will talk about it, that's their pain body expressing itself.
Right.
But I'm off track. Let's go back to social media. So let's get back to the issue of time, because to, come up with about, so it's meant to post 3 to 5 times a week or 2 to 3 a week.
In that range. I say 3 to 5.
Yeah. Okay. So 3 to 5 times a week.
Minimum.
So I need graphics, I need content, I need videos. Like that takes a long time to just put all that content together. Then I've got to figure out when I'm going to put it on. Now I need to get in there and do engagement. It can feel overwhelming. What suggestions do you have? Because I know you're the message therapist and also the marketing expert. So what suggestions around that do you have?
So one way to save time is to think about it in advance. So we're going to have a workshop October 11th. Mark your calendars, 4 p.m. to 5 Eastern time. And we're going to talk about content buckets. And what content buckets are just the theme of the week or the theme for the month. And once you decide what you're going to focus on for your posts, then you can say, oh, these subtopics. Let's say you're a bookkeeper and you want to talk about what to do in the fourth quarter to get your tax paperwork in order so that come mid-April or when you're preparing to file, it's not a rat race. So you can say, oh, I'm going to do the checklist of all my receipts. You're going to have, if you're a business owner, you need to do your personal taxes as well as your business taxes. Make sure you segregate those expenses, all kinds of things. So once you strategize your thought process, then coming up with the content is so much easier than just opening your computer and going, oh, I haven't posted in 3 days. I need to post.
Right.
What am I going to post? So that's where you save the time, is thinking of it in advance. And I'm a marketing strategist. So that's what I help my clients do, is to strategize, figure out what they want to say, and then break it down into the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever your posting schedule is going to be. So those are the ways to save time.
Beautiful. And I love this concept of content buckets, because just what you're talking about here is the reason people aren't as consistent as they may want to be to get the kind of results they want to experience, is that, you open up your laptop, what am I going to post about today? And, there's pressure on you and you're feeling, a little bit stressed and you're thinking, what will I write about? Will it be impactful? So planning is always better. What's that? Proper planning prevents poor performance. Of
Right. There you
companies.
go.
Sometimes there's 6 P's in there, but I won't give you that one today. All right, so create your content buckets on the types of topics, and then you do subcategories, basically, is what I'm hearing.
Right.
All right.
And then we talk about doing one long content in the week. So either a newsletter or a blog or a video, and then taking that long content and breaking it down into little nuggets, and those nuggets become your content for the rest of the week. And so those are the ways that I help my clients strategize and stay on top of things. And if you're going to plan a vacation, you're going to, the holidays are coming up in a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to travel and you don't want to be worried about it, you can strategize, do some things ahead of time. I had a friend that had surgery and was out of pocket for about 3 weeks. They did their content well in advance. And then as time permits, they went in and did the engagement and responding and some organic posts. But for the most part, they knew they had taken care of what they wanted to do for their business, even when they were away.
Right, so they're away, virtually invisible, but because they did some planning in advance, they were still visible while being away, or whatever those cases are.
Right.
Which then it makes it, so let's get back to this, time piece. When you plan the content in advance, and then not only plan the content, but repurposing it, taking that longer content, breaking it into small pieces. Now that work is done, and you can simply focus on building relationships,
right,
and get to the engagement.
And that's where the real magic happens, is when you make those conversations and connections, and you have a way to continue the conversation. So whether you take it offline, you set an appointment, you meet that person for a virtual coffee or an in-person coffee, you get to know them, like them, and trust them, and understand what they need as well as what you can provide them. And that's where the relationship really takes off.
Let's talk a little bit about, since you are the message therapist, when somebody does like your post, and you gave us a little bit, you say, hey, thanks, what did you like best about it? Or I love what you shared. Sometimes it can feel, I don't know what to say when I'm responding. Do you have suggestions around that?
My suggestion is just be real, be yourself. Something in the content caused you to hit that like button or the heart button, and identify what that is and say, this part of what you said really struck a chord with me. And here's why. Or I was just going through that a week ago, or a situation with a colleague or a family member would have benefited from that if I'd known it a week ago. I'm going to remember that for the future. Those kinds of things.
Right.
But so the authenticity is my
key.
Yeah, definitely.
So in terms of, and this may be off topic, in terms of the algorithms and the way that social media platforms work, if I am, looking through my feed and I see something posted by you and I like it or I comment on it, does that, I know that helps you get more boosting of rankings, but does it help me in some way? If I'm the one engaging on your content, is there any contribution?
There is. So the platform that you're using to respond to knows that that's the kind of thing you like to see, and they'll give you more of it. So back to the point about whether it's a smiley face or an angry face, it's some kind of engagement. They don't know which it is. So if you engage in the kind of content that you like, that, you're making a comment and saying, ooh, that really struck a chord with me, the algorithm sees that you're engaging, and they will give you more of the same.
So that me as the person engaging, now my visibility is in, my not my visibility, but my exposure to more people increases as I like more of a variety of things.
Well, and you said visibility. Well, not my visibility. Actually, it does help your visibility because people that are engaged with me that might not yet be connected with you will say, oh, who's this Nancy Matthews person? I like what she's saying. And they may explore your page, connect with you, all those things. So it can definitely help in lots of ways.
I do that all the time. Ding,
It's
ding,
the ripple
ding.
effect.
Right.
The ripple effect, right?
So take a look, everyone. This is one of those hidden gems that Peg just dropped in here by you engaging on other people's posts. So it's kind of like if Peg was having a party and I showed up at her party and I was like, oh, Peg, thank you so much. Who made this dip? This dip was really good. Oh, that was Mary Jane over there. She made the dip. Now I get to go meet Mary Jane.
And get the recipe.
Right? I get the recipe for the dip. Yeah. So taking that time to engage, to comment, to build relationships, it's all part of creating visibility and exposure for yourself. Well worth your time to do so. And I would say many of us, myself included at times, waste time. I'm just scrolling through, or I'm not commenting. Even if I'm sitting watching something and I like it, I just pass right by it and I may not comment. But pausing, imagine if you scroll through 30 posts as opposed to viewing 5 posts and really engaging, the difference that would make. And I invite you all to take that challenge. Just try it, see what happens. Really good.
Yeah, think of it as a spider web and all that interconnectivity. And like you said, Mary Jane made the dip, and then you go to the dip and somebody's drinking some delicious looking cocktail and you say, what is that? And you go over to the bartender and you get that cocktail, and you know, it's just that whole one leads to the next, which is why I like LinkedIn so much, because they show you your first degree, second degree connections.
Yes.
You go, who does Mary Jane know that I don't know? Who does Laurel know that I don't know? And it just opens the door to so much opportunity. It's that ripple effect. Drop that pebble in the pond and the ripples go far.
Go. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Well, we're going to open up for question and answer in a few minutes. So think about, what do you need to know, want to know from the message therapist. And before we do that, just want to check in. Peg, are there any other crucial points you wanted to share today? And then, of course, we're going to invite everybody to your workshop on October 11th.
So words matter. And, you know, if you want more kindness, be kind. Just like we use the analogy of Nancy doesn't see much negativity in her feed. Well, she's one of the most positive people I know. The more positive you show up, that's what you will attract. So be kind. When in doubt, choose kindness. Yep.
I love that. I love that. All right. When in doubt, choose kindness. Beautiful. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to get everybody ready to open up for questions. So you can put your questions in the chat. You can put them in the comments on Facebook, or you'll be able to unmute yourself and or raise your hand in a moment. So while I make all that happen, Peg, tell us about the workshop that's coming up October 11th, which I've already registered for, by the way.
Thank you. And I see Laurel registered already as well. So thank you so much. So it's going to be an hour long. It'll be fast and furious, more information like you just got today, but we're going to dive much more deeply into how to do these content buckets, the pillars of your content, the subcategories, how to schedule it out. You'll get a demo of one of the posting platforms that I like a lot. And we'll just talk about how to save time, which of course saves you money, and make the connections that mean a lot to you, and then how to embellish in your engagement with others and reach people you haven't yet met through the people that you already do know. So I'm doing the workshop with a collaborative partner of mine, Nancy Evans Aaron, and just stay tuned. $11 on October 11th. It's a low entry point, and I think you'll get extreme value from it. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. So it's $11 on October 11th. Go to,
it's a bit.ly link.
Okay, BIT. Go ahead.
bit.ly/create content workshop.
So bit.ly/create with a capital C, content with a capital C, workshop with a capital W, all one word, but make sure you do initial caps, create content workshop. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And as expected, my friend, everybody's got questions. So let me go ahead and get started with our first person, which I think might be Becca. Did you have a question? 561.
Yes, hi.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, That was really awesome, and I got a lot of great nuggets from both of you, so thank you. My quick question, I know you have a lot, is what timeline do you suggest in promoting an event?
Very good.
Again, it depends on the audience you're attracting to the event. So if it's a very professional, I would say as many as you have access to. That would be what I say. Shout it from the rooftops. If it's an event.
And
I was asking timeline, how much in advance? And and my second part of that question is, while you're promoting it, should you just stay on that message, or should you continue in with your other general messaging as well?
I would imagine the general messaging has something to do with what your event is about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say continue with what you normally do and promote your event.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much timeline do you suggest as far as promoting an event out? An online event, let's just say it's, under $1,000.
Under $1,000, and how many people do you hope to get there? So it's like a whole sort of process and arithmetic problem with, if you want 100 people there, you might only need 2 weeks in advance, 3 weeks in advance. If you're trying to get 500 people there, you may need more time so that the initial 100 can tell their friends. So I know at Women's Prosperity Network, there's a whole module on the time you need and all the things. That's kind of a loaded question. That it depends on the size of the audience, the number of seats you're trying to fill,
and the price
point determines how far out.
And yeah, so Becca, let me also mention this, which ties into your question as well as messaging on social media. Many people, if you have an event or a product that the price point is over $50, maybe even up to $100, do not expect people to purchase from a click. It's not likely to happen. So if you have something that's an event that's $9.97, let's say, first of all, in terms of a timeline of marketing, I would start marketing it early, and I'm talking about 1 to 2 months in advance, putting it out there with slow frequency, especially if you're going to do some kind of early bird special or something like that. Then you would pull back a little bit, then pick up the speed again within the 2 to 3 weeks prior to the event. Again, depending, is it online? Is it in person? Do people need to travel? There's lots of pieces of the puzzle. And once they come to the event, once they click on your link, if it takes me to a $9.97 purchase, you got to build relationship with me. Are you doing webinars? Are you doing classes? Is there a video on the page? So it's more complicated.
Good point. Thank you, ladies. Yes, so much fun.
Thanks for the question.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. Yes, ladies. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We're glad you're here with us. All right, let's go to, again, this is just part of what Peg is going to be covering at her workshop. So go to bit.ly/create content workshop, and capital, initial caps for create content workshop, all one word, bit.ly create content workshop. Let me go ahead and open up for our next caller, which is Laura Barker. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning. Oh my gosh. First, I just have to say, Peg, you're one of my absolute most favorite people. And I'm so happy to get this information from you. I had never heard about your content buckets. Oh my gosh. What a nugget, right? What I do know, though, is how much you have helped so many of my LinkedIn students to, who maybe were struggling with their about section or what to put in a post. I train on process, as you know, right? And
Right.
I help with content some, but boy, guys, Peg is the message therapist. And I learned so much from her. I registered for your workshop, Peg, as soon as the link went up. I'm not missing it. And I just want to thank you for the brilliance you bring to WPN and the community at large. Just
Thank you
brilliant.
so much, Laura. That means a
Absolutely.
lot. Your friendship means a lot. I love pouring into people. And, like I said earlier on, LinkedIn is my favorite of all the platforms. And I like
There
that
go too. Yeah.
first, second, and third degrees of separation and all those things. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're going to come and learn more about content buckets.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
Oh, I want to comment on something I'm observing between Laura Barker and Peg Duchesne, and it goes back to that engagement piece. So the two of you met where? Where did?
Women's
WPN.
Prosperity Network.
Oh, you met at Women's Prosperity
Huh.
Network. Huh. Inside of our Momentum weekly program where you're building relationships as you're learning and growing. So let's see. Peg, have you ever, so you engaged, you got to know each other, right? Peg, have you ever purchased anything from Laura?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I just want everyone to get, like, this is an economy. Build relationships. You'll get what you need from other people.
we may not have it all together, but together we have it all.
We have it all. Awesome. Well,
Yes.
I've also purchased from both of you. So, and here's the thing. I say that because I want to do business. Let's go back to our dear friend Bob Berg. I want to do business with people I know, like, and trust. That's right. So that's what, when we apply that to engaging and getting to know people on social media, it's the same thing. If you want customers, you got to like them, and then they'll like you. It's like it's all mixed together. So thank you for that illustration. Thank you, Laura. Beautiful. Let's go to our next caller. Let's go to Deborah Morrison.
Hey, thanks so much. And Peg, great content for sure, as usual. Appreciate you. This,
Back at you.
I don't know bank particularly. We used Kolbe, Kolbe, which measures cognitive.
Mhm.
Regardless of the methodology, I will just share a little tip, and you probably do this, but just for anyone else that has a staff in person, for example, we had everyone do this Kolbe, and so you're going to have people do bank, and they get 4 scores. Well, we had everyone do the little quiz, and then I made lanyards, and everybody sat around the board table with their lanyards on. And we actually had the conference phone in the middle of the table, and the people from Kobe were saying, now Deborah's probably sitting at the edge, at the end, tapping her, pencil, which I was doing, exactly, right? So every time, and we wore these lanyards around the office and within eyesight of each other for about a week. And somebody would say something. And then, like, I might think, oh, where is that coming from? And then I look at their lanyard and I say, oh, that's a heavy fact finder. That's why they are into the minutia at this point. I cannot tell you how this enhanced the productivity of our office, because everybody understood that everyone is coming from their own angle. And once you accept that, now you put it into a big mixing bowl and you come out with a perfect end result. One and one makes 10.
Well, and here's the beautiful thing. You get, like you did, Deb, so thank you for that. You get to have an advantage, especially in your marketing messaging, your communication, and dealing with people. You have an advantage when you understand other people's personality styles. They're sitting there just coming from their own space. But when you can see beyond that, it helps so much. So yeah, I love Colby
because
too. And I like bank. But if you haven't done the bank quiz yet, Deb, I encourage you to do so because it's another angle to look at personalities and communication. I think it'd be really beneficial.
Well, and Deborah, I'm so glad you brought up Colby, because Colby in the workplace is really fascinating. It's all about teamwork and how you recognize what your strengths are, but you also recognize what your weaknesses are, and then you build your team with people that can fill the things that are missing.
Yeah.
And bank is very similar. And so I'll say this about that. The more we know about ourselves, the more we can understand each other. And it opens up with the communication and engagement, because we know what we want and need and stand for in terms of our values, and we can appreciate others and their values and where they're coming from. And so whether it's Colby, whether it's DISC, whether it's Myers-Briggs, whether it's bank, the more we know about ourselves, the more we can learn about one another, and the communication gets so much deeper as a result.
Awesome.
So thank you for that.
You're exactly right. Yeah, and the fact is, I bought the whole series on how to manage when the score is different than 2-point spread, because that like I had a CPA, I had 2 CPAs on staff at the time, and very, very rigid, of course, compared to me, 30,000 foot view. And so I needed to learn how to manage these people that were more than 2 digits off of my score. Yeah. Now, this is where it translates to your marketing. And so this takes appealing to people visually, and then auditorially, and then sensorily. It takes it to a whole different level, because you can intentionally, when you're making this plan, which I've yet to do effectively, but when you're laying this out in advance, you can pay particular attention to part of the messaging, I would say, in each message, to various types of people. I love it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Deborah, for that analogy, the queen of analogies, of course. And I just put the link in for all of you to go ahead and do this quiz. It's a 90-second quiz. And I heard you mention earlier, Peg, that it issues a 27-page report.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things Deborah was just referring to is going to be within the report that you get.
Yeah. So if you're in a relationship with someone, have them crack their code, and then compare your reports, and you say, oh, that's why it irritates me that you do this, or that's why I love this so much. If you're at work, have your colleagues do it. Mm-hmm. And like Deborah's saying with the Colby, different assessments reveal different things about each other. And you can come to an understanding about where they're coming from, where you're coming from, and it makes working together, living together, relating with one another so much more deep and compassionate as a result. So,
so good. Let me tell everybody that link, because we shared that early on, and it's crackmycode.com/Duchess. All right, so that's the free 90-second quiz. Let's open up for our next caller. Peg, you ready to rock it? You're rocking it. So let's just keep on rolling.
I'm ready. Bring it.
Denise Garrett, your line is open.
Hey, Peg, and hey, Nancy. Quick question about when you post, video has been very effective, and I've heard a lot of people say that that's still the most effective. Do you find that true, or based on what you've shared about reaching people who learn in different ways, like written, auditory? What do you think about that? What's the best way to post?
So video is, first off, most of the platforms love video. And so that helps your algorithm because they like that platform. People like to see your face and hear your voice, and it makes a deeper connection with you. So video is a great way to go. One of the things I like to recommend for my clients is, if you're comfortable doing video and you do video maybe once a week or once every other week, you take that content and you can transcribe it. There's lots of artificial intelligence tools that will transcribe what you've said in the video. And then you can pick out a few highlights and make those smaller nuggets your posts for the rest of the week. So I really love to recommend video as a great way to increase your audience, resonate well with who you're trying to reach. And then for the content reasons, that repurposing video is a great way to go.
Thank you. And I just want to make a plug. I've met both of you lovely ladies through WPN. And if you haven't joined already, or at least checked it out, please do so. It'll make a huge difference. Thank you,
Huge
ladies.
difference. I'm so glad I met you, Denise. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Denise. And I'm going to give a follow-up question to Denise's, because that was brilliant. And should it be all video content, or do we need to mix it up?
I recommend mixing it up. Yeah, for sure. A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Okay, beautiful. All right, let's go to our next caller, which is Vanessa Donaldson, who also had a question about bank.
Yeah, a couple questions. Yeah, bank, and then there was another one that came up because I've already started to do like some content bucket playing around.
Hold on, we're having a little trouble hearing you, so
Maybe,
are you on a headset or something, or Bluetooth?
No, just on my phone.
All right, well, don't do speaker, maybe put it up to your ear.
It's on Zoom, so I think
Okay, all right, that was better. Whatever you just did got better, so don't move.
I'm just standing right there between two doors.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. So yeah, the bank question, but before that, I am starting to play with content. My messaging is still off, so I probably still need Peg, but I'm doing different posts, different days of the weeks, different times, adding video. So your course, for $11, that's just is it gonna be like templates to get us digging even deeper in what I'm doing already with the content?
So the question is, at your course, are you going to give templates to support her, or a structure? What's going to happen at the workshop?
Yeah, we will definitely give a methodology for creating your content buckets, and then the subcategories that will help you build out your content over a week and over a month's time. Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. And the problem is I still need her for messaging, right? Because there's no point doing all your content if your messaging is all over the place. So that's what I need to work on more. So thank you. And then the bank code thing. Okay, I think 2 WPN ladies have given me this before. Is this like a subscription thing that you recommend, like we all get to use with our clients? Because you put your name at the end of it, right? Like the one I got from someone else had their name at the end of the bank code, like / your name. Is that like a list too or something where we can?
Yeah, so that just connects you with me. It lets the bank people know that you found bank through me or through somebody else.
Okay, but is it like a lead magnet, like a way we can easily collect emails as well?
Yes.
Okay. And
Right,
is that
so Vanessa, you can, I think that's what she's asking. If Vanessa signs up to have this 90-second quiz, just like you did, she'll pay some subscription. Is that correct?
There are other ways that you can learn more about bank.
She wants to use it as her own lead magnet.
exactly?
Oh, I can work with you, Vanessa. I'll drop my email in the chat and you and I can have a conversation offline. How does that sound?
Thank you. Which chat?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm happy to help you in that regard.
The chat on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
So my email is peg@Duchess, DUCHESS LLC.com. And we'll put it in Facebook as well. And I'm in the Women's Prosperity Network directory. And I'm on LinkedIn under my name, Peg Duchesne.
She's
Looks
very,
like Duchesne.
as I like to say, she's very Googleable.
Thank you, Peg.
All right, thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Vanessa. Look forward to it.
Awesome, good stuff. All right, let's go next to Olivia Jones.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Peg. How are you this
Olivia.
morning? You and I have chatted before, and I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And my question is, when you helped me create my content in the past, and it was very effective, I still struggle with creating that time frame of when to actually, you suggested having 3 to 5 posts a day, and then also creating like a month or a week in advance. So
Right.
in my content creation, I also try to kind of connect with things outside of what I may be promoting. For example, right now we're in Florida and there's things going on. So, you know, kind of bringing all that in together to kind of attract. So I guess my question is that good? Is that strategic, and really connecting with the client where they are in terms of whether they're visual, auditorial, and to be able to attract them to me in a manner that is building rapport.
Absolutely. And, you know, the storms that are heading towards Florida are part of what's happening in all our lives. And so you have to be that real, authentic person and comment on what's happening in the world, regardless of, you know, whether it has something to do with your business or not. We're all human beings, and we're people first, and how you react and communicate with others shows who you are. And, you know, like I said, choose kindness, show your concern and care for the people that are facing the impending storm. Whether it has to do with your business or not, show your authentic self. That's going to rise to the top as far as getting to know, like, and trust you, realizing you're a real person with real feelings and care about others.
Very good.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And I just have to say real quickly, Nancy, I got a Wonder Woman, very inspirational.
You got a Wonder Woman like I got?
Yeah, I noticed her back there. Thank you, ladies. Love WPN.
Awesome.
Just that.
Well, and Olivia, I know it was the springtime, maybe March, when you and I had our strategy session, and I immediately saw you take quick action and apply what you learned. And I saw your numbers increasing and your engagement increasing. So thank you for being somebody who took the advice you were given and really ran with it. So way to go. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you for your giving and your generous spirit.
My pleasure, my friend.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Olivia. So glad you were with us today. And we should have time for one, maybe two more callers. So let me go first to Mary Jane Charles. And right before you get started, please, if you are frustrated that you're not getting the kind of engagement or results that you've had on social media, if you don't know what to write, if you're like, oh, I know I'm supposed to be there, but I don't know what to do, go to Peg's workshop, October 11th. It's $11, and you can register at bit.ly/create content workshop, capital C, capital for create, capital C for content, capital W for workshop, bit.ly/create content workshop. It will be the best $11 that you spend instead of spending your time spinning your wheels. Go to the workshop. All right. Mary Jane Charles.
Okay, good morning, ladies. Peg, thank you for doing this. It's timely. So I understand the timing, the volume, the variety. Do you use a scheduler that you can fill in all of the above on a Sunday between 1 and 3, and boom, it's in the hopper?
I do, and it's like I paid you to ask that question, except I didn't. Yes, there were in the workshop we're doing October 11th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We will talk about a scheduling platform that I use, allows you to post up to 7 platforms, schedule it out, and you'll get a demo of that. And we will talk about, in addition to content creation, what to, you know, how to strategize your content buckets, your pillars. We will give a demo of a platform, and looking forward to showing you how to do that. So if you spend an hour on a Sunday afternoon and evening, or any day of the week, lots of people have a CEO day on a Monday, whatever, and you plan out your week, you can do it all in about 45 minutes, 3 to 5 posts. And then like throughout the week, you just engage with those who engage with you. But it saves so much time and therefore money. And you're strategic about your marketing. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
You are welcome. My pleasure.
Awesome. Great question. And let me also share a thought that came up when you were just talking about this. So as business owners, we may be the person doing all the social media, creation, posting, da, 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 or we may have a team. And I want you to think about this. Even if you have a virtual assistant or a team member supporting you in this, you're the one with the expertise on the topic. It's your heart, it's your authenticity that needs to be coming through in all of your posts. So going to the workshop to create your content buckets and your voice, now you hand that over to your VA and they can take care of getting on the platform, doing the posting. And then all you need to do is watch the results. Because if you know that this post is coming out on Tuesday morning, I want to make time Tuesday morning to talk about time management. Now you can schedule. I know this is going to be posted because I'm using a scheduling tool on Tuesday morning. So Tuesday morning at 10 it posts. By 10:15, I want to be in there checking the comments and engaging. Like, this is business mastery the simple way. Got it? Go to the workshop. I love it. I love
Got it good.
Got it good. That was great. Mary Jane, thank you. Another wonderful question. And we're just coming up to the top of the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up. And let me mention a couple of quick things from Facebook. So somebody said they signed up, but they didn't receive a receipt. And the receipt will be coming as well as all the details for the workshop. I heard Mercury is retrograde, so everything's a little kaflooey in the electronics, and I'm in Florida. Like, I don't know why, but Peg will make sure that everybody who signs up, you'll email them all the details, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you'll get the details on that. I posted the link for the workshop. Once again, it's bit.ly/content creation workshop with initial caps for those words. Believe I got all of the other questions. Oh, you said 3 to 5 times. Is that per week or per day? That was the other question.
Minimum 3 to 5 times per week.
Beautiful. Okay, good. Minimum. And if you have space for more, you got to, more content to create, to put out there, more, more is better. Right. Awesome. Well, my dear, dear friend, Peg Duchesne, who I've known since 2008, which makes that 15 years we've known each other. Isn't that awesome?
It's awesome.
It is awesome. I am grateful for all you contribute to my life personally, as well as our community of Women's Prosperity Network and all the people who you're supporting and getting their messages out there to make the impact. They're here to make that positive difference. And the money you deserve, they go together. So remember that. Any final words, my friend?
If you're here at Women's Prosperity Network and you haven't gone deeper than just coming to Wow Wednesdays on once a week, I encourage you to take advantage of the training Nancy has later this evening and on Friday to get to experience what Women's Prosperity Network is all about, to set up a great trajectory for you to close out your fourth quarter. And, when you have a strong fourth quarter, that always means your next year is going to be phenomenal. So take advantage of what Nancy is offering. And Nancy, tell them again how they can get registered for that.
Oh, thank you, Peg. Love that. Just go to womensprosperityNetwork.com/thrive, THRIVE. We want you to thrive. Or just go to womensprosperityNetwork.com and you'll get the link when you go to the events calendar and join us. Like, we are so committed to giving you everything you need, no matter what's happened these previous 9 months. These next 3 months can be everything you dreamed of for this year. It's not over till it's over. So let's take where you are, build upon it in an inspired, fun, happy way, so that you get everything you want this year. So thank you, Peg, for reminding them to join us.
Yes, yes, yes.
Love it. All right, everyone. We got the cure for messy messaging. It's with the Message Therapist. So be sure to go to her workshop. We'll be back again tonight. I'm starting off a 2-part workshop series. We'll be back here again next week. We are here to support you in creating the life you love that is of value to not only yourself, but everyone around you. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Bye, Peg.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.